Welcome to the Whole Enchilada, a community of high achievers that fight the status quo, rebel against mediocrity, and make life happen. Let's go.
Hey, Enchilada Nation, excited for you to be here today. And this is a several-part series talking about how to increase the return on investment on your current investment portfolio. Right now, as you know, interest rates are going up. A lot of people are asking me, where are the deals to be had right now? And there are deals to be had right now. I am currently chasing those deals. But the other side of the question is are you currently being a great steward of the investments that you currently have in your portfolio? And this is a great time for you to sit back and look at and analyze, am I getting the most return that I can possibly get on the investment I already have in my portfolio? That is being a great steward of your investment. So stay tuned for this series of how to increase the rate of return on your current investments.
Welcome back to the last of the video series of the increase your rate of return on your investments. As you know, what we've been talking about is it's not only important to be a savvy investor and finding the right deals, it's really important for you to understand how to hold your current investments accountable to the rate of return that you demanded from them when you took on that property. So we've talked about a lot of ideas on how to increase your rate of return. Now, this last video is all about how do you double down and should you double down on this strategy. So I'm going to walk you through a couple things. Number one is it all depends on what your long-term strategy is. So a lot of times people will come to me and ask the question, hey, should I pay this property off or should I go buy more properties? And they want me to give them a quick answer. And the truth of the matter is it's not a blanket answer for everybody. What it is what is your goal? What are you trying to accomplish? So as you can see, I drew my little target up here, is never lose sight of what your investment target is. If you don't know what you're trying to accomplish, it's just a matter of churning and burning deals to no end. And it's really hard to make the right decision if you don't know where you're going. So if your long-term strategy is, I want to create a long-term passive income and I need that cash flow immediately, that's going to be different than somebody saying, hey, right now the cash flow isn't important to me. I've got really good active income. I'd rather get that money working for me with the intent of in 15, 20 years from now, having that be really good passive income at that point. Two different strategies. But ultimately, what this looks like is this. If you think about the properties that we've talked about, and I gave you a couple specific examples of my own properties and the returns they're getting, this is one of those properties. If you look at this property number one, if we talked about how to increase the rate of return on one property, for this property last year, the net cash flow after we did the refinance on it is about $5,000 of true net cash flow. That property appreciated by $29,312 last year. We paid off out of a mortgage payment $3,233 towards principal payoff, and then we also had a depreciation write-off to offset other income on our taxes of $4,545. So our total gain on that property was the $42,106. As you guys know, when we talked about this property on one of the previous videos, is I have no cash into this property, so this is all purely increase either in the cash flow standpoint or on my net worth statement. So if we were able to accomplish this with one property, and we had an effect on, this one property had an effect on my net worth by $42,106 in one calendar year, now we can look at this in two ways. One is the longevity of the hold of the property, but then let's also look at this and say, okay, well, what if we did this with two properties? We would have had an effect on my net worth of about $84,000, 5 properties, $210,000 in one calendar year, and 10 properties, $420,000 in one calendar year, net effect on your balance sheet. So here is the question. Now, I'm not in no way telling you that you should have a goal of 10 properties, 20 properties, or 30 properties. You may want to set that goal for yourself. But what this really starts with you taking a step back and saying, now I know I am a real estate investor. I want to continue to grow, but to what end? What am I trying to accomplish? Get clarity on what is the end game for you. For most people, it's about creating that freedom number. We've got some other trainings on how to find your freedom number if you're interested in that. But ultimately, your freedom number is what net worth do you need to have? And how does that net worth need to be allocated into personal use assets versus assets that are creating you long-term passive income? And at what rate of return do you need to manage or be a good steward over those assets that they're creating the passive income you need to live the lifestyle you want to live? Now, it's interesting when I take people through that conversation for the first time. A lot of times they're like, well, I really don't need that much to live on. And I'm like, that's not the conversation. It's not the conversation of could you live off of Top Ramen and Gatorade the rest of your life. The idea behind this is get clarity now on what is the lifestyle you want to live. And ask yourself the questions of, in my retirement years, how often do I want to travel? What kind of cars do I want to drive? How often do I want to take my grandkids to Disneyland? Whatever that looks like for you, there's a price tag associated with that. And you need to work that backwards to understand what are my investment decisions today? What do they need to be to ensure that my ideal future self is living the life they want to live? And it's all about buying the right assets and holding them accountable to a specific rate of return and running the game plan over the long term. I hope you enjoyed this series on increasing your rate of return. There's two sides of this game. Go buy more assets and hold those assets accountable to the rate of return that you need to grow your long-term net worth.
Enchilada Nation, this has been another episode of the series on how to increase the rate of return on your current investments. I'm hoping you took great notes. Be sure, if you want to watch the video, to go to thewholeenchilada.biz. You'll be able to see the video there for any of the screen shares that I did during the conversation. And don't forget to go follow us on social media at The Whole Enchilada. And we're thankful that you're here, and go live life on your terms.